Over the last 24 hours, we have identified 178 new cases of COVID-19 and completed about 5,500 tests. Our positivity rate was about 3.3%. While screening all positive samples for variants, we have identified 138 additional cases of variants of concern over the last 24 hours. Right now, 238 schools, or about 10%, are on outbreak or alert. As the Premier noted, hospitalizations continue to decline, with 306 people being treated for COVID-19, including 81 in the ICU. This encouraging trend is important to maintain, which is why, as we move into Stage 2 today, it remains critical for all of us to follow all of the public health measures that are currently in place. We can ease restrictions now only thanks to the combination of vaccine protection and the hard work and sacrifices of Albertans over the past many months. The ideal benchmark is 70%, at least first doses, and that is actually a benchmark. As Albertans are looking to the future, the ability to move forward as quickly as possible into Stage 3 would be by achieving that 70% benchmark. And again, as the Premier mentioned, we are extremely close. So that is the number one option. And so if, as had been asked over the next few months, we see that we're stuck at 69.5%, but our second doses are increasing, there's no specific time frame or cutoff, but again, it's an assessment of what would be that equivalency. But if Albertans are keen to move forward, having that first dose target achieved would be the quickest way to be able to move forward into the kinds of activities that we've all missed. And again, that's the primary and preferred target. Certainly, again, the calculations that we did about population protection and having that 70% of the 12 and older who had at least one dose took into account a certain baseline assumption of second doses. But of course, if we are holding at about 68, 69% first doses, and our second doses accelerate and we can get to a higher level of protection, that can be taken into account. But I want to emphasize that 70% is not a cutoff. We would love to see as many Albertans as possible protected. And so I would encourage all Albertans who haven't yet come forward to get the protection that vaccine offers to you and to those around you, to do so as soon as possible, because whether we're at 70, 71, 72%, every single dose that we give offers more protection. And so the ideal would be to achieve that high level of protection from first doses as well as second doses. But again, the work is underway to kind of look at what some of those equivalencies might be, knowing that our best case scenario would be to have as many Albertans as possible who have both first and second doses by the end of the summer. We did see in one of the outbreaks that there were 10 individuals who had completed their second dose and still unfortunately ended up becoming infected. What we're monitoring now is whether or not they had, as we would expect, a milder course of illness. I don't have data on the number that had a single dose or no doses at all. And again, I want to emphasize that we do see a small number of people who have completed their immunization who can still go on to get ill. Again, as we've talked about before, the vaccines are about 70 to 80% protective after the first dose, 90 to 91, 92% protective after the second dose. So there still is a portion of people who can go on to become infected. With the Delta variant in particular, we are watching very closely our experience. I don't have, again, the current data. On Tuesday, it represented about 5% of our overall new cases, so still a very small number. We're watching that closely, and we know from the data in the UK that after a second dose, the effectiveness of mRNA vaccines boosts to, again, the high 80s, approximating that 90% coverage. So while we can see a few cases that have broken through the vaccine, the vast majority of people who are vaccinated will have protection. And again, that's part of the reason we're accelerating our second dose opportunities, and we'll continue to do so as long as supply allows. We'll be able to offer Albertans second doses as quickly as incoming supply permits.